You know that nagging joint ache? That stiffness, maybe in the morning? That just makes moving feel like a huge effort. Or maybe it's getting harder to do simple things, things that used to be easy. It seems to creep up on us as we get older.
It really does.
But what if, and this is what we're exploring today, what if some of our everyday choices, the things we barely think about, are actually making it worse? Especially when it comes to something like bursitis.
Yeah, that's specific inflammation.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into bursitis. You know, that inflammation in those little fluid-filled sacs, the bursae that cushion our joints.
Right. Shoulders, hips, knees are common spots.
Very common. And it's the reason for that persistent pain so many people over 60 start to feel. Our mission today really is tailored for you listening. We want to explore this surprising link, this direct connection between our food, our habits, and the specific kind of joint inflammation.
Uncovering those hidden culprits, as our source material calls them.
Hidden culprits, I like that. And we'll reveal some natural solutions, drawing from insights, really deep insights, from a practitioner who spent over 20 years helping older adults heal naturally.
It's fascinating stuff.
Think of this as maybe a shortcut. A way to understand why bursitis sticks around for so many people, and importantly, how you might reclaim an active, comfortable life. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it. What's really striking from the sources, especially from someone with that much hands-on experience, is how often the usual treatments, the standard stuff, just don't get to the root cause.
They just manage symptoms.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But this practitioner found that by focusing on the causes of inflammation-specific diet changes, lifestyle tweaks, bursitis often just vanished.
Yeah.
Even for people who tried everything else for years.
Wow, that's a huge shift in thinking. And it sounds like it often starts somewhere kind of unexpected, right? Like our kitchens.
Absolutely. Our source tells this really compelling story about Margaret, a 68-year-old grandmother. She came in with terrible shoulder bursitis, could barely lift her arms. She'd done PT, meds, cortisone shots, the works.
And nothing really stuck.
Very little relief. But then she eliminated what this expert calls the inflammation gang from her diet. And get this, within 3 weeks, she was back playing with her grandkids, totally pain-free.
3 weeks after years of pain. That's incredible. What specifically in that inflammation gang do you think made such a quick difference for her bursitis?
Well, Margaret's story really highlights that direct food pain link. For her, the sources suggest it was mainly cutting way back on sugars and those processed vegetable oils. That seemed to just drastically lower her body's overall inflammation level.
Okay.
So when her system wasn't constantly fighting those irritants, the bursa in her shoulder finally got a chance to calm down, to actually heal. It's amazing how much diet impacts inflammation, especially in specific spots like the bursae. People often miss that connection.
Right. So let's name names, these food villains lurking in the kitchen. Where do we start? Our source points to maybe the biggest one first, the sugar trap.
Definitely. And it's not just general inflammation. The sources emphasize that too much sugar can actually trigger a specific thickening of the synovial fluid around the bursa.
Oh, interesting. So it gets sticky.
Kind of, yeah. It makes that joint pain feel more sharp, more persistent, especially as we get older. It's like adding fuel to a fire that's already smoldering in the joint. When you eat excess sugar, your body pumps out these inflammatory compounds called cytokines.
Cytokines, right?
Think of them like tiny little fire starters spreading through your system.
Sticky, stubborn fire. That paints a picture. And there's actual science backing this up, isn't there? Not just anecdotes.
Oh, absolutely. There's research cited in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition showing just one sugary soda a day for 6 months significantly bumps up inflammatory markers.
Just one a day, wow.
And what's really key from the practitioner's experience is how often people overlook things like diet sodas or even fruit juices they think are healthy.
Right, the hidden sugars.
Exactly. Patients reported big drops in bursitis pain once those specific sugar sources were cut out. Sometimes even more than when they cut out obvious candy or desserts, which really makes you ask, if the artificial sweeteners aren't any better, what should we be drinking instead?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It sounds like we need to rethink what healthy even means sometimes. So if diet drinks are out, what's the swap?
Well, the best options are often the simplest. Water, maybe infused with some fruit or herbs for flavor. Unsweetened green tea is another great one. Simple, yeah, but super effective.
Okay, makes sense. So moving on from sugar, the next villain our sources identify: processed foods, The silent saboteurs. How do these sabotage our joints specifically, beyond just being generally unhealthy?
Well, this is a huge category, right? Frozen dinners, chips, deli meats.
The convenient stuff.
Yeah, and they're usually packed with unhealthy fats, chemicals, inflammatory oils. But there's something else, especially relevant for aging joints. Advanced glycation end products, or AGs.
AGs, what are those?
Think of them like cellular rust. They form when sugars react with proteins or fats in your body, and they literally accumulate in your joints. And here's the kicker. After 60, our bodies just aren't as good at clearing out these AGEs.
So they build up more easily.
Exactly, which can make bursitis more stubborn, harder to recover from.
Cellular rust. That's a sticky image too. It really explains why these foods might hit harder as we age.
Okay, next on the list, the omega-6 oil overload. We hear a lot about omega-3s being good, but what's the deal with omega-6s and joint pain?
It's all about the balance, or rather, the imbalance. Most modern diets are flooded with omega-6s from things like corn oil, vegetable oil, soybean oil. They're in almost everything processed.
Right.
We need some omega-6, but the typical American diet has something like 15 to 20 times more omega-6 than the anti-inflammatory omega-3s. For your joints, especially an inflamed bursa, that imbalance is like pouring gasoline on the fire.
Pouring gasoline. Okay, these analogies are vivid. So what happens when people actually fix that ratio? What kind of relief did the practitioner see? It could be dramatic. The source material mentions patients cutting their bursitis pain by 60% just by switching to anti-inflammatory oils like extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil.
60%, just from changing oils.
Yeah, it shows how much power one consistent kitchen change can have.
That is really compelling. Okay, next. Red meat, the protein problem. Now, this can be a touchy subject. How does red meat fit into the bursitis picture specifically?
Good point, and it needs clarification. It's not all red meat. The focus here is on processed, grain-fed meat, the kind that's become a daily thing for many people.
Okay.
That type tends to be high in saturated fats and other compounds that can directly fuel inflammation in the joints. There are studies, referenced by the Arthritis Foundation, linking high intake of processed red meat to higher inflammatory markers, which obviously can make things like bursitis worse.
So less about the meat itself, more about the type and how often.
Exactly. And the good news is there are great anti-inflammatory alternatives. Wild-caught fish, organic chicken or turkey, lots of plant-based proteins. It's about the source and the type.
Makes sense. Okay, last food bullet. Refined carbohydrates, the energy thieves. White bread, pasta, pastries. How do they steal energy and hurt our joints?
Well, these foods cause really rapid spikes in your blood sugar.
Right.
That spike triggers an inflammatory response and makes your body pump out more insulin. And high insulin levels directly feed inflammation around your joints. Plus, it's a double whammy because these foods are stripped of fiber and nutrients.
Do they act like sugar?
Pretty much pure sugar in the body.
Yeah.
And they take up space on your plate, displacing the nutrient-dense anti-inflammatory foods your body actually needs to heal.
Wow, okay. It really feels like a web, doesn't it? One thing connects to another. So if you're listening, maybe you're starting to see some parallels between what's on your plate and that nagging joint pain.
It can be eye-opening.
Absolutely. But don't get discouraged because we are definitely getting to these solutions.
All right, we've tackled the food culprits. Now, let's shift gears a bit. Our sources point out 3 lifestyle habits that are just as impactful, maybe even more so, but often fly under the radar. Habits that could be silently wrecking your joints and making that bursitis worse.
Yeah, these are things so common in modern life, we often don't even connect them to our pain. And they don't just add to the problem, they can actually multiply the effects of inflammatory foods, creating this ongoing inflammatory state, especially around the Bursae.
Okay, let's break down these deadly habits, as our source calls them. First one, the sitting epidemic, your joints' silent killer. Oof, I feel called out already. My couch and I are pretty good friends in the evening. How bad is sitting really for bursitis?
Well, if you and your couch are pals for more than, say, 6 hours a day, TV, computer work, just relaxing. Yep.
You're essentially suffocating your joints. Seriously. When you sit for long stretches, your hip flexors get tight, putting stress on your lower back and hips. Your glute muscles get weak. But here's the direct link to bursitis. Sitting for too long slashes the circulation to your joints.
Less blood flow.
Exactly. Which means less oxygen, fewer healing nutrients getting to those inflamed bursae. It directly slows down healing and keeps the pain going.
Suffocating your joints. Wow, that's strong. And there's research on this, right? It's not just a theory.
Oh yeah. The American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons points out how regular sitting creates muscle imbalances that put abnormal stress on joints. But the fix isn't training for a marathon. It's simple. The 30-minute rule.
30-minute rule.
Never sit for more than 30 minutes straight without getting up and moving for at least 2 minutes. Walk to the kitchen, do a few gentle stretches, march in place while the kettle boils. Anything to get that circulation going again. It brings those healing nutrients back to the joints.
2 minutes every 30. That sounds doable, even for dedicated couch fans or desk workers. Okay, habit number 2. The stress connection inflammation's hidden partner. This link between feeling stressed and actual physical pain, like bursitis, can seem surprising. How does that work?
It's a really powerful connection and so often missed. Chronic stress, constant worry, anxiety is one of the biggest triggers for inflammation in your body. It keeps your stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline cranked up high all the time. And when those hormones are chronically elevated, they cause systemic inflammation. This directly makes bursitis symptoms worse by creating this pro-inflammatory environment right around your joints.
And our source had an example of this, right? Robert.
Yes, Robert, a 72-year-old retiree. He noticed a clear pattern. His shoulder bursitis would flare up intensely whenever he was stressed about finances. He estimated his pain jumped 40 to 50% on those high-stress days. But when he started using specific relaxation techniques, his bursitis pain went down dramatically, even without changing much else. It connects to the bigger picture. Chronic stress actually suppresses your body's good anti-inflammatory responses while boosting the bad inflammatory pathways. It's like your body's fire department is on strike while troublemakers are lighting fires everywhere.
That's a scary thought. It really drives home that stress isn't just in your head. So what can people do about it? What are the practical solutions?
Things like deep breathing exercises, even just 5 minutes of gentle meditation, Tai Chi, or listening to calming music can make a difference quickly. They activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system. And that directly dials down inflammatory markers and even how intensely you perceive pain. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How much are we underestimating our mind's power to help heal our body, especially with something persistent like joint pain?
Definitely something to think about. Okay, final habit. The sleep sabotage when rest becomes rust. We all know sleep's important, but how does lack of it specifically hammer our joints and bursitis?
It's a nasty, vicious cycle. Something like 70% of people with joint conditions have trouble sleeping. But here's the kicker. Poor sleep doesn't just make you tired, it actively worsens inflammation. During deep sleep, your body produces growth hormone and other critical healing compounds. That's when tissue repair happens, including for your inflamed bursa. If your sleep is constantly interrupted or just too short, that whole healing process gets sabotaged. Your joints stay stuck in a chronically inflamed state.
So bad sleep isn't just annoying, it's actively stopping the healing.
Precisely. Research confirms that sleeping less than 6 hours a night consistently leads to significantly higher levels of inflammatory markers. Plus, being sleep deprived makes you more sensitive to pain. That bursitis ache feels even worse.
And what are the common things that sabotage sleep?
Oh, the usual suspects. Screen time too close to bed, caffeine in the afternoon or evening, big heavy meals late at night. They all mess with your body's natural sleep-wake cycle and healing rhythms.
So what does sleep hygiene for healing look like, specifically if you're fighting bursitis?
It's about setting the stage for maximum healing. Keep the bedroom cool, ideally 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Make it pitch dark, blackout curtains. Cover those little LED lights. If you need a night light, use a dim red one.
Red light, okay.
Yeah, it's less disruptive to melatonin. And, critically, create a digital sunset. No screens for at least an hour, ideally 2, before bed. That blue light absolutely kills melatonin production, the hormone you need for deep, restorative joint healing sleep.
Okay, wow. Sitting, stress, sleep. It really sounds like these habits don't just add up, they kind of multiply each other, creating this awful inflammation spiral. My couch time, my stress levels, my late night phone scrolling, it's all tangled together.
That's exactly it. Stress makes you reach for comfort foods, which are often inflammatory. Poor sleep ramps up stress hormones and makes you less likely to exercise. Sitting too much can increase stress and mess with sleep. Each bad habit feeds the others.
It sounds like a downward spiral.
It can be. It keeps bursitis flared up. But, and this is the crucial part, you absolutely have the power to reverse that spiral. Small, consistent changes in the other direction can create an upward cycle of healing. As we've been talking, are you maybe recognizing some of these patterns in your own life? Things that might be feeding that cycle?
It's definitely giving me food for thought, especially about my evenings. But okay, let's not leave people feeling overwhelmed, because now we get to the really hopeful part. The natural healing revolution. Our sources really emphasize the body's amazing ability to heal itself once we remove the obstacles and give it the right support.
Absolutely. After seeing it for 2 decades, the practitioner behind our sources is convinced. Give the body what it needs, and its innate healing wisdom takes over. It's about activating your body's own internal pharmacy to calm inflammation and rebuild tissue.
Activating the internal pharmacy. I like that. So let's talk strategy number 1, the anti-inflammatory food pharmacy. What are the star ingredients here, especially for soothing inflamed bursae?
Think of your kitchen as your personal healing toolkit. The Mediterranean diet is a great example. Tons of science showing it lowers inflammation body-wide. But our source highlights a golden trinity for joint health specifically. First, fatty fish.
Like salmon.
Exactly. Wild-caught salmon, mackerel, sardines, they're packed with omega-3s, which act like a natural ibuprofen, directly cooling inflammation around the bursa, but without the side effects.
Natural ibuprofen. Great term. What are the other 2 parts of this trinity?
Second, leafy greens. Spinach, kale, collards, loaded with antioxidants and vitamin K. Think of them as tiny soldiers fighting inflammation at the cellular level, plus they're crucial for overall bone and joint integrity. And third, colorful berries.
Blueberries, cherries.
Yes, blueberries, strawberries, and especially cherries. They contain compounds called anthocyanins that are fantastic at reducing joint pain and stiffness. Tart cherry juice in particular has research suggesting it can be as effective as some anti-inflammatory drugs for joint pain.
Really? Tart cherry juice. That's fascinating. What about spices? Any healing heroes there?
Oh, definitely. Turmeric is a superstar. Its active compound, curcumin, is well studied and shown to be as effective as ibuprofen for joint inflammation in some trials. The trick is to add a pinch of black pepper. It boosts absorption by something like 2,000%.
Wow. Okay, turmeric and black pepper. Got it.
And ginger is another powerhouse. It helps block inflammatory pathways and also improves circulation, which is great for getting healing nutrients to the joint. Many people feel relief within days of adding more ginger.
Okay, that's the food pharmacy. Now, the movement medicine protocol. Moving when you're in pain, especially with bursitis, sounds wrong. What's the approach?
It does seem counterintuitive, doesn't it? But the right kind of movement is incredibly therapeutic. Top of the list, water therapy. Water aerobics or just swimming?
Why water?
The buoyancy supports your body, so you can move your joints through a full range of motion without the impact of gravity. Plus, the water pressure itself, hydrostatic pressure, gently helps reduce swelling and boost circulation around the bursa. The source mentions patients regaining full arm motion this way after years of shoulder bursitis.
That's amazing. Any other beneficial movements?
Gentle yoga and Tai Chi are fantastic. They combine flexibility, building gentle strength, and stress reduction. That's a triple win against joint pain.
Now, this is really interesting. Our source says the timing of movement matters. Tell me more about that.
Right. Think about morning stiffness. Super common with bursitis, often because fluid accumulates around the joint overnight.
Makes sense.
So doing just 10-15 minutes of very gentle stretching or range of motion exercises first thing in the morning can help distribute that lubricating synovial fluid, easing stiffness and pain significantly. It sets a much better tone for the entire day.
Great practical tip. Okay, next strategy, the sleep sanctuary strategy. We talked about why sleep is crucial. How do we optimize where our bedroom for joint healing?
Creating the ideal environment is key for that deep restorative sleep. Keep it cool. 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit seems to be the sweet spot. Make it absolutely dark. Blackout curtains are worth it. Cover any little electronic lights. If you need a nightlight, use a dim red one, as we mentioned.
Right, the red light.
And be strict about that digital sunset. No screens for at least an hour, preferably 2 before bed. That blue light exposure late at night is a major disruptor of melatonin, which you desperately need for tissue repair while you sleep.
Okay, strict digital sunset. Got it. Now, stress transformation techniques. We know stress fuels inflammation. What goes beyond just relaxing? How do we actually rewire that response?
It's about actively engaging your body's relaxation response. One great technique is progressive muscle relaxation. You systematically tense, then release different muscle groups. It sounds simple, but it helps you become aware of where you're holding tension and consciously let it go.
Tuning into your body more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It reduces that unconscious muscle guarding that can make joint pain worse. And for in-the-moment relief when pain flares up, the 4-7-8 breathing technique is powerful.
How does that work?
Simple. Inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 7, and exhale completely through your mouth for a count of 8. Repeat it 3 or 4 times. It quickly activates your parasympathetic nervous system, calming that fight or flight response and often reducing pain perception within minutes.
478, easy to remember. Okay, are there any supplement support systems that can give an extra boost once diet and lifestyle are addressed?
Food should always be the foundation, definitely. But certain supplements can provide a concentrated dose of healing power. Omega-3 fish oil is a big one. Aim for a therapeutic dose, usually at least 1,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA daily, to really tackle inflammation.
Okay, high-dose fish oil.
Curcumin supplements, again looking for ones with piperine or formulated for better absorption, around 500 and 1,000 milligrams daily, can really help with pain and stiffness. And vitamin D is crucial.
Vitamin D, how does that connect?
Deficiency is strongly linked to chronic inflammation and pain sensitivity. It's worth getting your levels tested and supplementing if needed. It impacts overall joint health significantly.
Good to know. And finally, one we might easily overlook, the hydration healing connection. Water seems so basic.
Basic, but absolutely fundamental for joints, especially for the synovial fluid that's the natural lubricant in your joints and Bursae.
Right, the cushion.
Exactly. If you're dehydrated, that fluid gets thicker, less slippery, leading to more friction and irritation. The general guideline is half your body weight in ounces of water per day, sipped throughout the day.
Half your body weight in ounces. Okay.
And adding just a tiny pinch of sea salt or some trace electrolyte minerals can actually help your body absorb and utilize that water better, making sure it gets into those joint fluids where it's needed. The amazing thing is how these strategies all work together.
It's synergistic, right?
Totally. Each one reinforces the other. Better sleep reduces stress. Less stress makes it easier to eat well. Better nutrition supports healing from movement. It creates this powerful upward spiral, a healing environment for your body.
That really is a comprehensive picture of a natural healing approach, grounded in that practitioner's long experience. And hearing about results like Margaret hiking again, or Robert teaching Tai Chi, it shows this isn't just theory.
Not at all. It underscores that your body wants to heal. It has this incredible innate wisdom. When you remove the things that are irritating it and give it the right resources, it's remarkably resilient. It can often resolve inflammation naturally.
So, for you listening, feeling maybe a bit overwhelmed but also hopeful, here are some really small, actionable first steps. This week, just pick one thing. Maybe eliminate one inflammatory food or drink that daily soda, the processed snack you always grab.
And replace it with one good thing. A handful of walnuts instead of chips. Maybe some green tea instead of soda. Simple swaps.
Then, maybe next week, add a little movement medicine. Just 10 minutes of gentle stretching when you wake up, or a short walk after dinner. Remember, consistency beats intensity here.
Definitely. And the week after. Focus on your sleep sanctuary. Maybe just start with putting up blackout curtains, or commit to that digital sunset 1 hour before bed. See how it feels. Quality sleep is prime healing time.
And what's so encouraging is that these changes, they aren't just for bursitis, are they? They build this amazing foundation for healthier aging overall. You're boosting your energy, protecting yourself from other issues. It's an investment in vitality.
Absolutely. You're not just managing pain. You're building resilience for years to come.
Imagine, just take a second, imagine yourself 6 months down the road, waking up feeling looser, doing activities you enjoy without that constant ache, just feeling more free in your body.
That's a very achievable reality for many people. Aging doesn't automatically mean pain and limitation. It really doesn't. Your best, most comfortable years could very well still be ahead when you start working with your body's natural healing abilities, not against them.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. What single idea or strategy from our deep dive today resonated the most with you? Just one thing. And how could taking that one small step be the beginning of a really positive shift in how you feel every single day?
It often starts with just one small change.
It really does. And now, just a reminder, as always, please do consult with your doctor before making any significant changes to your diet, your exercise routine, or adding new supplements, especially if you have any existing health conditions or taking medications.
Essential advice. Always best to keep your healthcare provider in the loop.